7:00 on the dot.
Okay.
Remember, we're on
Matt wearing
TV.
2 hats.
Two hats. We're live.
Yep, it is now.
Welcome to the February 6th Conservation Commission meeting 2020. Let's have a roll call of members. Roger?
Here.
Matt?
Here.
Lepore, Joan McKibben, Tom Levesque,
Here.
Michael Croto,
Here.
Harry Manzicki,
Yeah.
and Stephen Weber, Selectman's rep.
Here.
We did check Alzheimer's.
All righty. Good thing you had the name tag. So I can... First on the agenda is Stage Crossing. Oh, I forgot to bring the 12/13/2019 letter, but we went over that. Possible solution on the access. Joan, Mike, and Matt went on a site visit February 1st with members from Stage Crossing. And tonight we have Vinnie Robato and
Paul Barber.
Bob present from Stage Crossing. So what we did Saturday was, we all know where the existing access easement is between 22 and 24. I have some pages here. Got my tax map. Tax map 12. So between units 22 and 24, we have an access easement that goes out to lot 1225, which the town owns. Which pretty much we agree is not ideal because it's going between 2 housing units and it is kind of intrusive. So we went out and we did walk down to the clubhouse on the old electric car track. It is very wet in there, and there isn't any real advantage to make a trail from there up when you have the paved road. You could park down adjacent to the library or the old barn there and walk up the road. And then we walked in before the first unit, and the property line is fairly close behind the first unit, and then their property line veers off to the northeast. And there is a ridge line that we walked in and went up that way to connect onto our trail. We don't have the tow on our property, but they do have the tow on their property. So that might be one solution. Coming in from the library, behind the library or behind their community center is not going to work. It's just too wet. It's too wet. So we thought we could flag it out at first and then see how it looks. Gentleman from Stage Crossing did find the boundaries out there and flagged them. So if we can cut across before their first unit, before the pine trees that they had planted, and get up in on our property on the ridge and then go over to the trail might be a solution. The expense to this would be, after we flag it out, if we decide to do this, would be renegotiating an easement deed across in a new location and getting that recorded. Probably would not need it surveyed. We have Andrew that could do mapping, right?
Yep, should be able to.
He's taking minutes. So what is the thoughts here? Mike was there, Matt was there. Give me some thoughts.
I was at the barbecue right there, Mike, in reference to is that flat and level? Where you,
No.
Not exactly. There is a bit of a slope. It goes up a little bit, and then you would have to go down. So it's almost like you're going up a hill, going down a hill, and then you're coming in onto our property. And then
The good thing is, I don't think you would need to take any large trees down. It would need to be brushed out a little bit. But I don't think, you think we could get around the large trees? I don't think any large trees need to go. Just mark it well if you did decide to go that way. What's your feeling?
I did think it was the location by the first unit would be kind of a win-win situation where, we can have a more easily accessible trail entrance and we get to kind of, and it's more identifiable and you don't have to worry about, going between people's houses. We could pretty much make a new trailhead with just or a new trail in there with a brush mower and a chainsaw. Seemed pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you said there was cost involved.
Well, the cost would be legally getting a new easement. We would have to get in touch with the Attorney General's office to say that we relinquish that and get a new one. And, the attorney fees not on our end to do a new easement and get it recorded.
How much? I mean, do you have any idea?
Probably less than $500, I would imagine.
Guessing.
Guessing, yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know what,
Okay.
Nothing to base it on. We'd have to.
legal fees.
Well, we only have what?
No, we
1,300?
would not be paying for that.
No.
Oh,
We have an access now. If we want to change access, the feeling is we would not be paying for that.
so what do you fellas think about it?
Well, we were the one that basically proposed using the access by the first unit rather than the one where it presently exists.
Okay,
So this would be less intrusive to the people living there, is what we're
Yeah,
saying then, right?
Now, I would want you to talk to the person in the first unit though, because it is fairly close to that property line is fairly close to the first
But we
unit.
can do the trail inside the woods.
Right, inside the woods, definitely.
And we'll have a talk with them.
Okay. Because the scale in inch is 1 inch equals 100, so it's about 100 feet off the back of her unit. That
But it's
bound.
blocked, it's blocked well enough from the house by trees anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a problem. That would be less intrusive than any other one.
Agreed. So that's the thought.
Mhm.
So I would still want to maintain a 30-foot, I think, access here. We have 30 feet on that one.
Mhm.
30-foot wide coming off of the road and use the same verbiage that
That's in here now.
that has ingress and egress on stage crossing, not vehicle access, but same wording that's
all right, so we would literally swap
Right,
accesses.
location.
So the location between 24 and
22.
22 would go away,
right.
and that would have,
Not until that we flag this out, make sure it's going to work.
no, I mean,
We all agree.
yeah. But that would go away, and that would revert back to the association, correct?
Oh, it just wouldn't exist there anymore.
It's just,
It's gone.
it's an easement
Just part of
over,
their
they own the
property.
property, it's just an easement over the
Okay.
property.
And then,
And then we
We
get
put
a
it-
new quick claim access deed to this section.
okay, and you folks feel that's not going to be a particular problem as far as
No,
the
because
same types of things? that-
No, because I think we've been hoping right along that we could come to some agreement on this.
Mhm.
And it's really been going on for a long time. And I know the people that are involved would have absolutely no problem moving it down there.
Okay. So what do we need? Some
Well,
sort of,
we need to get out there and flag it.
Flag it first.
And get over to, we did see where it connects up to our trail. We need to go out and flag it and maybe get Andrew to map it, GPS it, and then go from there.
do we need some sort of motion or
I
anything
don't-
like
I don't
that?
believe so. But at this point, I think,
Yeah.
that's we get it flagged out. I think let's get it flagged out before we do anything that
Okay.
has any language into it.
Well, at least make a motion to proceed with it anyway, so you get something on the record that
I don't think
Good
we need to
work.
do that.
I don't mind.
Roger?
Having walked that a number of times, and I can remember when we bought the property, why, now that the clubhouse is there, why can't we just use where the parking lot is, go directly behind the parking lot and make the trail come up?
That's also wet.
That's all
It's
wet.
very wet.
We walked that too.
We walked in on the trolley track and
That's wet.
I know in the spring it's
No,
even
wet further
wetter.
down. I didn't think it-
It's wet, because the trolley track impounds the water.
Um,
And it's wet behind the library, and then it's wet, very wet.
If you go far enough to dry land, you're now on someone else's property.
Yeah,
Not only that, but if you go in down there, it's a long walk from there
Up the
to get
hill.
anywhere near the trail.
Right.
and you're not gaining anything when you can just walk up the road
Yeah.
and cut in that way.
Yeah, but they're not gonna have a problem with us walking up the road.
We have ingress and egress now on
Right,
that
That
road.
verbiage-
It's gotta
that
stay
verbiage
that
would
way.
say,
Right.
it
The
just,
verbiage already exists
Mhm.
for access on the road, so that shouldn't be a problem.
I
All
have no
right, well, we'll get
problem
out there as soon as the weather, as soon as possible. The weather breaks and we have the time, a couple of us get out there and flag it and maybe we can find that other bound that we had put in too.
When you get around to flagging it, I'd like to know, I'd like to go back and
Yeah,
do that with you.
or, you know, do a first run, then walk it with you and see what, if anything needs to be changed.
Yep.
Okay,
okay.
thanks for coming in.
Thank you for
We'll get
seeing
back
us.
to you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Hopefully get this straightened out someday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Nice
Next.
file, nice file, Karen.
That's why I filed this in my office. Dara Pond Assessment. Oh, I'm glad Steve Weber is here. Okay, so
He's the bad guy, yeah?
no, originally, this was on the warrant to do a 3-year treatment of the pond. It was in there, I think, at $30,000 or $35,000 on the warrant, and then it was totally removed. And would you like to tell us about this?
So as we were presenting it with the budget committee, there were a lot of great questions that came up from the budget committee. And one of them, in case in point, was what is the ongoing maintenance cost after those 3 years? I mean, what is it going to be every single year? So we started having discussions around that. We went back, we talked to a bunch of people, and when it really came down to it was we didn't have all that information. Second of all, we don't have any guidance from the Recreation Commission on what they want to go do with the pond. Is it going to be a swimming hole? Is it going to be a frog pond? You know, what is the actual direction we want to go and do with this? Then we also have issues with the butters, you know, what type of chemicals will be leaching into it. So we thought in lieu of spending $35,000 right now, not knowing with all the outcome, that we're best to pull it off the warrant. Then we'll go back through, we'll put together a committee, we'll engage with DES, see if there's any funding that we can get from them, also from the state, to help out and really look at it before we go through it. And if we do feel that it's necessary, we're going to bring it up next year.
Okay, as a rebuttal, it was treated back in 2016, I believe.
Yes, and the subsequent years were not done.
Right. After the 3 years, you don't know because you don't know how much the 3 years is going to take care of the milfoil that's there. They can't do the whole pond at once. They can only do about a third of it each year because of, you don't want to mess up the dissolved oxygen situation. Nobody came to the Conservation Commission and asked any of these questions. And the situation is just going to keep getting worse. People do swim across the pond and it's good luck because you're getting tangled up in everything.
So that's what we did. We did on the last day. We actually had an emergency meeting to pull it. And then because the budget committee was meeting that evening to do the whole budget. So it was done at the last minute. And we had nothing to do with the tax cap because we're going to use encumbered funds in order to go do it. We just did not think it was the right time to go and investigate. And the reason we didn't come back to the Conservation Committee, because I believe this committee relinquished it to the rec, saying it was under the guise of rec.
True enough. They do have to, before they treat it, they have to pull a permit from the state. It's a slightly different, better chemical that they used the first time. The state goes over that permit. If it's, going to harm anything, the state's not going to issue the permit. So hopefully next year, investigation will be done. And
So when we bring the committee together, would a representative from Conservation like to sit on it with the discussions?
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll have Conservation be
know.
part of the discussions, just so we can get a good plan going forward. Right now, we're actually doing the capital improvement planning. So rec has to come to us and they're going to tell us what their grand scheme of all their land's going to be. And hopefully within that, we'll get some guidance on what they actually want to do with Dara Pond.
And either they or Troy should talk to the Solitude Company about.
Yes, but Solitude will be part of it also. So it's going to be DES, Solitude, rec, someone from the Board of Selectmen, and we'll have somebody from the Conservation Committee.
when they get a committee to work on.
We get the committee together to
Dad
really
Pond
focus
specifically.
on what we want to go do. So first we need a little bit of direction from the rec on what they would like to do with the pond. Because if it's just, their intent is only to have it as a frog pond, it may be a different path we take than if they decide, yeah, we'd love to get back to the point where there's a sandy beach, there's a buoy area where people can swim. What's the long-term plan?
To get it to look like that again.
It'd be beautiful if we could.
No, we used to have swimming lessons down there and everything at one time.
Yeah, because they used to have the day
Program.
camp there, they used to have swimming lessons, and so, I mean, I think it'd be great for the town to get it back to that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of young families with small children that would love to go down there and splash in the water on a summer day.
Well, as recently as when my kids were little, they swam there, so it's unfortunate to see it going the way that it is.
So
Okay, well, that's good. Let us know when that happens.
definitely.
Okay, Morris Falls, continuing hazards, fire department contacted, Matt contacted the fire department, Joan spoke to Chief Fratzel the other day. I went down after you taped off the area, so I saw the tape on the trail, then I went down and cut some bittersweet, just trying to cut it while you can see it when the leaves are out. And then down on the river, you had the tape from like where the canal breached. Where did you actually find articles of interest?
So kind of like, all that brush, all those tiny little twigs that were down there and all that trash. That's
Right,
where they were.
like near the granite pieces, at the edge of the water?
Kind of further in a little bit by those, a few rocks kind of protruding from the sand right there.
And is that where you've been finding things, or is it?
Yes, one of them I did find in the lock at the end there when the river was really low and that was all exposed.
Needles again?
Yes.
Yeah. So he called over the weekend. The call firefighters went down and picked stuff up. And I talked to the chief Monday. We don't know where it's coming from. It could be from the tent cities along the river. It could be just people dropping stuff into storm drains, and you get a big rain and it flows right through. So you don't know. Could be coming from as far as Franklin. Who knows? So there's any way we can curtail that. Now, did you check on signs?
Yeah, so I found a picture online that says that's kind of specific to the danger of like syringes being down there. There's just a warning syringes with a picture of it. And it's kind of like high visibility yellow. That's something that we could have printed out and laminated by Staples again. I'm pretty close nearby there, so I could one day order them and then go drive right there from after work and grab them and put them up there whenever we.
Probably might be a bad idea once the warmer weather comes around. You don't want people walking down there in bare feet. There's
Right.
always a bunch of broken
And-
glass
and
down there.
That's what's happened both the previous two times where I found them. I had to like run out, like coming back with the fire department to tell people you're right by the syringes, and people are barefoot fishing or out there with their dog. It's a pretty dangerous area for that to be happening since there's so much traffic there, especially in the
And it's
in the
sandy.
summer.
People think, oh, it's sandy, but there's,
Yeah.
it's not good to be walking there bare feet.
When I was down there with the fire department, I had a steel rake and I was raking through the brush, and another one popped out of there and it didn't have a cap on it. So I'm not sure if the needle was actually on there, but there's stuff like hidden down in there. It's pretty sad.
And it's when it's, especially when you have a big rainstorm, then the water comes up, you're going to get, more of an issue. So do we
So-
want
So we don't believe that the people are actually going down there.
No, I don't think
So it
so.
must be
I'm
from
not sure where.
Manchester, I assume, coming down.
Or any place
Yeah.
north of us.
Yeah.
Would be
So
come
to kind of continue, do we still want to deal with this the way I've kind of been doing it, where I find them, call the fire department, tape off the area, really take some time
Now,
to.
when do you go down there?
I'm down there at least once a week.
I mean, like on a Saturday or?
Yeah, sometimes on a weekday after work, it's kind of on the way. But I've been
And
checking.
now that
in.
it's staying lighter
Now it's
longer,
finally going to be
you can
changed.
get down there more often. Well, yes, the chief said keep calling the fire department, that they
That was the
handle it.
next question. Are they finding this a pain or what?
No, they said keep calling them, and taping the trail. I don't think really is. I think the signs would be better.
Yeah.
Once
But-
the storms are over.
in to kind of combine with that, because the benefit of the tape is that you're actually you can't miss it. You can't miss red tape that says danger on it, so you know not to go past it. If people go, because it's like the last time when I did it and I like put up the signage there, it's we still got to let people know. We're finding stuff down there. I think we have a responsibility to tell people we know it's down there, it's dangerous, and we really don't want people going down there until we have a handle on the situation.
Yeah, and if they go around it, well, then at least they've been warned
Yeah,
that
it's
dangerous.
like
You're finding these right on the shoreline,
pretty much a
not
couple
toward
feet
the
in.
falls or further down?
It's in that river access area by St. Francis.
By St. Francis?
No, when you walk down, how you walk down from St. Francis and go straight across the trolley track and go,
No. I haven't, but
that's a little mapped.
Colby Brothers years ago used to put their irrigation pumps down there. That's how that originally got down there.
okay. Is that where the big
Washout?
cave in is
Yeah, the
over
washout.
there?
No, the sinkhole's on the trolley track.
So it's like
So if you went down from St. Francis, there's a kiosk right at St. Francis parking lot. You can walk down, straight down. It brings you right down to the river.
Oh, okay.
And then that's where you're finding the stuff, because it's like a little sandy beach there.
No, I'm just kind of surprised it wouldn't be close to the, rapids where it hits the shore. I'm just.
Well, the rapids are more out in the middle, and then it gets slack water when it gets to the shore. And the old canal system is right there. So just, high water just all floods.
And there's that kind of cove there that water
Yeah.
slows down over there. And
Yeah,
Just kind of floats in, washes in.
yeah, yeah. So that's the situation there.
So I go along with ordering some of those signs.
Yeah,
yeah.
get them
Okay.
laminated and Donna can laminate. We can laminate stuff here.
Oh, all right. I can just send them over and we can print them out right here then.
Or we'll get them printed in high visible color, and then we'll laminate them. Like yellow or something. Okay, and then there's the other issue of doggy waste at Morris Falls, even though we have our signs up.
So still not, that didn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
People that can't read.
And there's another sign at the,
Just want to let you go to schools.
there's two signs actually on the kiosk. So I checked on the posts with the bags like they have out here in Albuquerque, pretty expensive. And I asked Kevin Brown, acting road agent, they don't have any left from Albuquerque, so I guess
How
we'll just.
expensive is expensive?
The bags were expensive and the posts were like $58. It wasn't even with the post, it was just the container. It was like $58.
Then you have to furnish your own
And then you have-
post.
And then you have to get the post, and then the bags were like $96 or $90 or something.
yeah, but you must get
Expensive.
10,000 of them.
$59 was the cheapest one for like, I want to say 100. A Granger company was the one Kevin Brown said.
For the container, that's
Well,
what
if we got the sign, if the highway department has the bags, maybe we could just.
No, they don't. They don't have anything left
Oh,
from Albuquerque.
Wasn't that originally put up for a high school project or something?
No, that was federal money that Albuquerque, all
Out of
that,
that?
yeah.
they have the
Well,
poop bags on it? The scuba poop bags?
Yeah, we had a grant for Albuquerque.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that was
And
an
that was-
alternative means of transportation.
Well, that was, I think, the Obama era.
It was an alternative anyhow.
So right here, it shows the sign, the post, the bag dispenser, 400 bags, installation instructions and hardware is $127.99.
What site are you on?
That one.
Dog Waste Depot.
Oh, shit, it's-
This is exactly what it does.
Could you be more specific?
For how
They're
much?
perfect for satellite locations.
For how much?
$127.99.
120.
And that's for if you buy 1 to 4, and if you buy 5 to 9, they're $124.99. So you save $3. And shipping is always free.
How many
Wow.
bags do you get?
400.
turn them when they're full.
Yeah, return to Sunday.
That's not bad. That's
And then
better.
a case of 2,000 bags is $45.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
That's
go.
not bad.
Wow, that's better than Granger's price.
10 rolls per case.
No.
Now, the bag is strictly a bag. Is there a metal frame in this thing or?
It's a metal frame and
Oh,
everything.
for the 128, you get the.
Yeah, for the
bag.
128, you get, it looks like it's
Dispenser?
typical. It's the 4x4 post with all the holes, the metal ones.
Yeah, right.
Like you put a stop sign on, just like that. And then it has the doggy bag and even a little sign at the top of it.
Even if you just got the box, couldn't you just put the box up on the kiosk as you go
Yeah.
in?
Yeah, it could.
And the high school kids are always looking for projects. Maybe that would be a
We'll
fundraiser.
talk about that in a minute. So 128.
Gee, I have a cheap way of doing it. If everybody, we could build a container, put a post in. and-
Put your shop and say, your hand over bags.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as the state doesn't ban them pretty soon.
Well, it's better than throwing him in the dump.
No, I'm not. All right, so what do we want to do? 128 for 400 bags. That's pretty good.
I have now, Matt, when you go down there, you don't wear any kind of identification, do you?
Yes,
I
he
do.
does.
He does.
Do you?
Yeah, you should see. I got a helmet now too.
Okay.
I should take a picture of you Sunday.
I have it out in my car if you want to see it afterwards. But
No, I'm just curious because I'm going to get off my butt and I want to start going down there. At the fishing derby, you used to have pins.
Yeah, we do.
still do.
We do.
Still do.
All right, if I start going down there, could I have one of those pins?
Sure.
Because I think somebody should, like you go down once a week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey,
Maybe
we need
if
to
I
make
go-
more of a presence. I think that's a
Right.
good idea.
Pardon?
We need to make more of a presence.
So is that our most active site that we have?
I would say so.
Yeah, I'd say
It's
so.
on a weekend, especially on Sundays, at least that I've noticed, you can get quite a few people down there. At one point, a few Sundays ago, the parking lot was actually full. Like I actually
Wow.
had to park kind of
Hmm.
towards the 3A a little bit.
Must have been that warm day.
It was 70-degree
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
Also
and-
this year because there's no snow.
Yeah.
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 Usually when the parking lot's not plowed during the winter months.
And we've been going to Bedford a lot lately, so we're passing Moore's Falls, and I have seen at least 2 or 3 vehicles every time I've passed it during the week too.
Even during the weekend.
And I think we do get a lot of dog walkers down there.
We do.
So do we want to spend $128 out
If
of
you
our
want just the
500?
box itself, it's $52.
Oh.
And that will hold 600 bags
Wow.
That's even better.
Now,
for fewer refills.
okay, here's the question. Fine, what do we expect them to carry out the bag?
Yes, we do.
Okay, no, I'm asking.
Carry in, carry out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think even Benson's, I'm trying to remember, I don't think they have a trash can there. I think it's a carry out.
Yeah, I believe it is. It's carry out.
Yeah.
What is there any laws pertaining to that, Stephen? While you're playing with your thing there?
Hey, loss pertaining to what?
Like about if they're ready to remove it, but they just throw it on the ground. I mean, that's
A
illegal.
lot of
dump,
times
right?
they just leave the bag there.
Bag down, yeah.
So
I guess that would be littering, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, that's
At that point, it's even more littering. I mean,
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Because
At
now
one point,
it's-
it's waste, and now you actually put a bag in it.
A lot of towns have, Portsmouth, and I know Littleton does, has a sign that says, dog waste is hazardous to your health because it is.
From going down there, when I was cleaning up some of that stuff, you could see people were stepping in it. So it was unbelievable how much was down there. I think I cleaned up 18 piles. I counted. It was on that main stretch down there from 3A. There's still more down there. It's a little over the top
from the gate.
from the gate.
Yeah,
Yes.
to the-
Yeah, I can believe it.
And those are the people that aren't going to pick it up anyway.
No,
I have a thing on my dog leash that has the roll of bags on it.
yeah.
And obviously, if he does that, I pick it up, and I'm not going to just leave the bag there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we have containers along the trail.
I think it's a good idea that we get the bags so that, in case people don't bring them, they can still clean them up. But, it's the dog owner's responsibility. And, you're bringing
Well,
your dog
also,
out.
I think you're right, Joan. I think we're going to have to try to get some sort of presence down there and not be consistent, but maybe inconsistent because, they'll go down there and they'll never know one of us or somebody's there.
Mhm.
So does the $52 one come with the bags?
see. It says fuel will be a whole 600. Let's see what comes in this one. It's a plastic dispenser with lock, 10 and a half inches by 11 by 4, 2 keys, 1 hardware kit, same day shipping. No, it does not come with bags, but it holds 600 bags.
Okay, so how much is,
How much is the bag?
Then the bags are as low as 2 cents a piece.
Okay, wow.
Let's see if we can find out. Depends on how many rolls you buy. If you buy 4 rolls, it's like $40. You buy 10 rolls of them, which is 2,000. That's $80. So,
well, over here you had 2,000 for $45.
so it's
The only
just a
thing
different
is,
mechanism.
the dispensers that we have here, aren't those in a box?
They're in a
Don't
box.
they unlock the thing and then they put a box in there?
That's more like the first one that I showed. I think is the ones that
I
we
think
have
we
down
would want to
there.
go with something
With
that we could
was
use.
the first one a metal
always.
box?
Yeah,
The metal box,
changeable,
correct.
good.
Yeah,
I think that'd be better.
because if we're going to buy this thing, they should all be compatible. I mean,
Yeah, whatever they have out here on the.
Yeah, this one has a lock on it and everything. The metal box.
And it would hold up better. The plastic's not gonna hold up in the sun very long.
yeah, that somebody's just
Somebody will
going to
smack it with
put
a
a rock on
branch
it.
anyhow.
So do we want to try one for $128?
But I think we're defeating the purpose, like Roger said, that we need to try to get compatible with what we already have out here on the trails now.
Yeah, that's what was the metal one on the metal post.
This
right?
one looks a lot like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, we don't know if it's the
Does it
same
look
one.
like the one that's
Well, it's
down
not
there?
gonna be near this one. And
No,
no-
we can.
Oh, you've never seen it?
The same vendor. I mean,
Does this look like,
The one I showed you earlier. That looks like the one that's out there, isn't it?
Who bought those, Jack?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would've been
quite a
good.
while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They look a lot like that.
Yeah,
probably 10 years ago or so. They've been there for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
and they're holding up. But this one?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, and it comes with the sign.
Oh,
Pretty good.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Weighs 35 pounds.
Wow.
And free shipping.
It says 35 pounds. That's free shipping.
That's pretty good.
Just remember, free shipping.
Has to be free shipping. Well, I think we should try that.
So what do you have what do we have in our budget?
$500.
Lower quarter of it. Go ahead. No, just going to red anyhow.
That-
Are they going to do on peaches?
Fire us.
No, I said peaches. They have a council. I'll make a motion. that
So
we,
how much is that one?
Spend
128.
128.
And that comes with how many bags?
400.
400.
I'll second.
So Tom and Matt seconded to purchase 1 unit.
does the sign, I'm sorry,
The sign
Okay.
comes,
can you go back to, does the sign, what does the sign say?
It says, dog waste station. Please clean up after your dog.
Okay,
perfect.
This means
but
you.
it says nothing about carrying it out, does it?
No.
You'd like to think that goes without saying, but
Now, unfortunately, if you don't say it,
Wow.
Well, we'll try this at first and then
right.
this, what this means you.
Yeah, this means you. Yeah, this means you
And we'll
will.
have to be the poop police.
A new title, Poop Police. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Tom motioned and Matt seconded the purchase of 1 dog station. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Unanimous.
Unanimous vote. Okay.
I don't know if the town has one, the post drivers for the metal poles. I have one if you
Okay.
want to borrow.
I sent you the link, Joan.
Okay, great. I will order it with someone's credit card. We were another good story from Morse Falls. Watch your town report. There'll be a good picture. We were cleaning out the bluebird boxes the other day. And one box that was really surrounded by trees, I was going to come back and cut some of the trees down because it wasn't really good for the bluebirds. It was just too closed in. So we're scraping away. A little mouse stuck his head out the door of the bluebird house.
Wow.
So we didn't take all his house out. We left him. His picture's going to be in the town report.
Oh, wow.
So all the bluebird, we cleaned the 2 at Parker Park. One had just had a bee's nest and one was empty. Those are fairly new. And we just had the 1 to put back at the boat ramp. So those are done. Okay, Parker Park improvement, sophomore project, Harry. Take it away.
Well, I have to admit, I had not contacted the people since the last meeting. I'll admit that. And I got a call from Joan that said that Joan and Matt had been down there and that there was all kinds of debris down there. Okay, fine. Now, I had stopped by that site maybe a month before and was kind of surprised that the structure's painted or stained, if you want to call it, but the doors or the enclosures, whatever you want to call it,
Plexiglass.
Plexiglass, I'm not saying.
plexiglass weren't on there. Plus, I hadn't heard anything, and the wife broke her arm, and that took care of almost all my time. So what I did is I sent an email to Denise Sullivan and voiced my displeasure about the lack of activity, and also that there was a complaint about debris. Well, she sent back this email that you guys have got, Joan and Matt, about all the wonderful things the kids did. But the bottom line is, and apparently she sent her husband down to Parker to see that if there was stuff all over the place. So I went down myself, and what was down there is that if the boys, now this is subjective and this is only an opinion, but it looks like if the boys put the shingles on without any kind of supervision, because the shingles were almost all blown off on the
Or
backside.
without any roofing nails.
Pardon?
Without any roofing
And
nails.
there were no roofing nails. So it looks like all they did was just laid the shingles on there, period. I saw maybe 3 or 4 nails in there. The ones on the back were totally gone. There was some missing on front. The thing that also surprised me is the debris on the ground was a bunch of wood that Joan and Matt had said. So I emailed back Denise Sullivan and copied Matt and Joan and said, this has got to be cleaned up as soon as possible. There's no question about it.
And I had emailed too that there was shingles all in the brush. And I said, before the brush starts growing, you have to
Right.
get that out of there because you're not going to be able to
Well,
get in there.
I'm assuming, and I understand what I just said, when they're going to clean up the debris, they're going to look around and clean up all the debris. Well, Joan and I had a little discussion, and one of the problems I'm finding with the project, and because I'm unaccustomed to this, is we never forced them to a deadline, okay, a completion date. In other words, here's the project, this is what you guys are going to do, which they only gave us one status, but we expect it to be done by or sooner. So what I suggested, and I talked to Joan, I was originally going to say April 30th because the warmer weather's there, okay? Which means they could go back and reshingle it and they wouldn't have the same types of problems and take care of whatever staining and stuff did. Joan suggested May 15th, and I said, fine. So I sent the email to Denise with the proposal that the project be done by May 15th or sooner, and that the boys themselves email Joan and I on a 3-week basis to give us a status. Even if there was nothing done, saying, gee, we haven't been down there, it snowed, it rained, we haven't got to it, but some sort of status. Now, I sent that email 2 days ago.
Heard nothing, have you?
No,
Neither have I.
no. So I'm going to wait till,
Wait a week.
you think I should wait till midweek?
Wait a week from when you sent it.
Okay, I'll wait a week. And then I'm going to say, and Joan, both I, and we talked about it, agreed that it appears that the mother is more in charge of this project than the boys.
If I could kind of jump in on this.
Sure.
So they had communicated to me because I was the original liaison with them to the commission on this project. they are heavily involved in winter sports. So their ability to kind of get out there and work on this project is probably going to take a little bit longer during the winter
Plus, they
months.
didn't drive up until
Yeah,
recently.
they didn't have the licenses. They're sophomores. I'm not too sure about the deadline. They have to be done with their sophomore projects by, I think it's a spring, within a month of.
Well, I asked that
July.
question
Mhm.
because I'm unfamiliar with,
And I'm okay with there not being a deadline. I'm just grateful that we have volunteers
Yeah,
willing
to
to
do
help
it.
us do the work. So if it take 5 years, I mean, I agreed to the point with the shingles definitely need to be cleaned up, but I'm still
well,
grateful that
here's my
that they're
point.
helping.
I understand that they're volunteers and I understand that, it's a strictly a volunteer situation.
Mhm.
But you
And they
gotta
do have,
also,
and they do have, sports and school.
and
comes
I
first.
understand
School
that,
work comes
okay?
first.
However, we also did volunteer to pay for the material, but they went off on their own and got a volunteer. My point being is they committed to something, okay? And this is supposed to be a learning curve for them to learn whatever they can get out of it as they go through, like anybody else would do it. And if winter sports were interfering with this, my point would be, then why didn't you let us know? Why couldn't you have communicated with either Joan or I and say, listen, we've got the project on hold because blah, whatever, okay?
Mhm.
But you got to remember, we didn't hear a thing. And again, I'll take part of the blame because I didn't follow up. But the boys took on the project, and my feeling is, now maybe I'm being,
Old fashioned?
pardon?
Old fashioned?
Thank you. I'm trying to be politically correct.
He is old.
Yes. That they have the responsibility to say, okay, we apparently bit off more than we can chew and we need more time. Because we never did say when it was going to complete.
Right.
In fact, at the last meeting when they were there, one of the comments that was made, well, finish it whenever. Well, no. If your boys have a project and they have to report it to school, they have to set up a plan, a status, and a completion date. Now, maybe I am being old.
No, that's part of the learning process, I would think.
I would think so too.
Fair enough.
So I'll wait a week. If we don't have an answer back, I will answer them back. And if any of you happen to get an email, could you please just say, get hold of me and John?
Sure.
Okay? And that'll take care of any kind of intermediate situation at all.
But I think this is a learning curve for us too in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
If we ever have any more of this, we need to set a real timetable.
yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
yeah, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
like I said, this is the first project I've done with the kids and stuff.
I think it's been one of our first projects too, except for the Eagle Scout, and he had a whole,
Yeah.
Right.
timeframe.
No, I've been in Boy Scouts for a lot of years, and I do other activities that involve, younger people too. And we've always set up, they've come up with a plan and they've come up with a status, and they've come up with a completion date. Sometimes the completion date isn't exactly what we are looking for, but they said that it would be done by, I mean, as it stands right now, they could take 2 years to do it.
Well, no, they have to have it done
Yeah,
by
they
the
have to have it
seniors,
done.
on the sophomore project. They got to turn it in
Project.
before the end of the school year. So
Do they?
some, yeah, they
Okay,
have to.
see, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So being a soft, they're by, I think it's the middle of May is when they have to have it done by.
Okay, so that's good.
Because then they have to do a whole write-up, PowerPoint, they need to
So is
present
it
They have
May
to-
15th?
I think May 15th is a good date.
Okay,
My daughter had to do hers last year. It was somewhere in there is when it
Yeah.
was done.
They have to document the work they're doing for their presentation, but
Yeah.
that should also be shared with us. And
and I agree.
our other volunteer, I think his name is Taden
See, when
Radonis.
Tom and I went to school, there was no project. Our project was surviving, going back and forth to school, never mind just,
That's right.
Uphill both ways, don't forget.
yeah.
That's right.
Uphill.
That snow was deep.
The whole school year. Snowing.
All right, so we'll wait to see what we hear, and then hopefully we'll have.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that we'll follow up on that, and I'll copy Joan so that
Okay,
you're aware of what's going on.
all righty. Good.
Because the other thing that, speaking about that, the other kiosk that does need work is good old Moore's Falls. That needs some work too.
That was
It's not
redone
looking
recently.
that's not looking too bad. And the stain on the Park one that came out nicely, they're gonna,
Pardon?
the stain they did on the Park kiosk looks good. They're just gonna, I think they're gonna do different color on the lettering.
Yeah, but Moore's Falls, one of their doors, or two of the doors are kind of messed up because of warping and, all kind, it's just weather,
Yeah,
they, they need to maintain.
Yeah.
And especially where we're gonna put so much emphasis on Moore's Falls.
Yeah.
So that would be another project that maybe somebody from high school, now that we've gone through this learning curve, we can, we can assign that project to somebody.
all righty, moving right along. We'll definitely have more projects if people come forward. On the budget, we did purchase the 4 cameras. I have them in the file cabinet in there. I don't think we'll put them up until the weather gets a little bit better out on Grassy Pond.
Do you want me to put labels on them and kind of test them out, see how the camera quality is?
Yeah, probably a
Yeah.
good idea.
My boss at work is like he's an avid hunter, so he's very knowledgeable about game cameras. And he was
Okay.
giving me some good advice,
Good.
like make sure when you hang the camera, it's not too close to the branches, because if it's windy, the branch is going to go in front of the camera and set it off. Things like that.
Do you want to do that now? Do you want to take them with you and test them?
Sure.
And then get Harry a badge too.
The
before
other
he
thing
leaves.
too is be careful of it's not much so the branches, believe it or not, when you set it up because of rain, when the rain comes down, if it isn't dripping in front of it'll set the camera off too.
Oh.
We'll get a motion movie
Yeah.
pictures to stroll through it.
No, because my son and I set up cameras and that's one of the mistakes. We hung it underneath a spruce thinking,
It'd be nice to protect it.
Protect them.
uh-huh,
It's a good thought.
I'm looking for somebody to go on the internet and look into trail grants, different places that might be coming up with grants for the spring or fall. I don't have a lot of time right at the moment. But if anybody can be out there looking, on the state,
what would be involved in that?
get on the internet and start searching for state
What's
grants. There's
Say
a-
that again?
I don't know. Some kind of
Oh, yeah.
wire.
Oh, yeah. Forgot you too.
Only kidding.
There's
I'll-
LCIP.
Think I could do it on my new phone?
Whoa,
no,
a flip,
no.
it's flip.
I finally broke down.
Oh.
I finally broke down.
You're hopeless, Harry. Yeah, you're going too far ahead.
What do you mean? It's the 20th century, isn't it?
No,
Give me
19.
oh, sorry.
I want to go back. I like to we had 800 people in town.
Are you still with Verizon?
Half of them were deer.
That
Half the residents were deer.
After residents
Yeah, that's
review.
right.
So that we need to start looking at that. Jason had mentioned a couple meetings ago to, we should start looking for grants because they have deadlines when you need to submit
Okay.
things.
I can play on, seriously, I can play on the internet and take a look and see what.
Look at the state sites. There's different endowment funds,
There's
You
one
know
right
who's
here.
a great resource for all this stuff that we could
New Hampshire
we could talk
Trails.
to?
New Hampshire Trails.
UNH Cooperative Extension.
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
Harry, did
Yeah,
you
this
hear
is
that?
the state. New Hampshire
UNH
Department of Natural-
Cooperative Extension, Harry.
You hear that, Harry? UNH?
I was talking to them while I was still going to UNH. I could just walk right to the building, and they.
What's
they're-
that? The guy's
helpful.
name? I haven't. That came here. I have to look up
Here's
his
a
name.
pretty decent one. You
Yeah.
have to go to one of these sessions, one of the workshops. to do.
Yeah, which one's that one?
This is the recreational trails for New Hampshire Department of Natural and Cultural Resources.
Yeah.
And they have 3 workshops coming up in May.
Hmm.
And the applications have to be in by June 21st.
Yeah,
All
send me
right,
the
let me
link to
take a
that
look
one.
and I'll look around and see.
Steve, send me the link to
Steve.
that one.
How about, is it this, what Society of,
Protection New Hampshire
Protection of New Hampshire
Forest.
Forest.
yeah.
They do mostly land protection, but
Right.
it's not, wouldn't hurt to look at their website. They like tracts bigger than 40 acres to start to protect. Our next meeting is March 5th. Do we have a rainfall report?
Yes, we do. I gotta say, January was a
Yeah,
pretty
she's
dry
not here,
month.
so I
Oh,
purposely for no.
We had 1.6 inches of liquid precipitation. We only had 7.5 inches of snow.
Yeah, we're down in snow.
we can make up, don't worry.
Well, we already did.
We had that 2
Morning.
feet in the early there, and that was
Yeah,
about
that
it.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Then it went, and
That went.
We don't have January minutes, so we can't approve those. Anybody have any other business before we go into non-public?
Is there a status on the, you mentioned the grassy pond? Is there anything that's, any status on that in terms of,
More activity?
yeah,
Yeah,
No.
I've been going out there and I can see somebody walks that trail and somebody is cross country skiing on that trail into the power lines. I've been talking with the head of building and grounds at LMS, and he's been alerting me of I guess there's some.
Well, you can ski under the power lines, but you can't really ski from there. Well, you can come up that trail that's kind of getting wooded in, where we walked.
Yeah.
Skiing that way,
Yeah, like through that trail that's right through the wetlands there.
and then up to the power lines?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we do want that to revegetate in there.
Like there's
Roger,
like
yeah.
gravel down in there. Like
Yeah.
it's they actually like made a pretty impressive trail in there, but it's
I was thinking along that line for the old folks place down there, putting some kind of a gravel trail in there.
Yeah, well, at least
Delineated.
up the, yeah, as you come up the road, definitely. Did you have something?
yeah, just a thought. Some 20 years ago or so with Dora Pond, I was part of the VLAP program, the
Right.
Volunteer Lakes Assessment
Yeah.
Program.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, well, I guess the Recreation Committee would have to probably, there used to be a science teacher there at Campbell High
Oh,
School
that's right.
that he was pretty heavily involved in the environmental thing. I'm wondering if we shouldn't ask them if they wanted to get involved in that. And so we had a lot of studies on the pond some 20 years ago, but that was kind of just let go.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody could pick up where that was left off.
Do you want to try and contact the science teacher? I can't remember his name. That was
He
over there.
left.
I
yeah,
think he
Mr.
did.
Orban.
Orban, he retired
Yeah.
when I graduated. So 5
Do you
years
want
ago.
contact, do you know the recent science teachers over there? Names?
I could probably find out.
Because
I
that might
reached
be a
out-
good project for them, as part of their environmental studies, and it also would be good for the pond. Get more people involved in the pond.
Yeah,
Also save us some money on research too.
I've reached out to the Environmental Ecology Club. I think they changed the name of it, but the students were interested when I talked to them about working with the Conservation Commission before, and that was in 2018. So, but by the time I reached out to them, it was like the end of the school year, and
It was too late
the
then.
club had essentially ended for the year. So,
Yeah.
I
Dara
could find a
Pond
name.
belongs to, responsibilities of Recreation Committee.
yeah, the water is the property of the state, but the land is the
Around it
recreation.
belongs to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it belongs to the town, but
The
the
town.
recreation is
Still,
stewards of it, right?
Are they going to be doing a fishing derby this year? Do we know?
I don't think
In
so.
town?
haven't
I thought I
anything.
heard you had talked about.
Somebody came in and I gave them
That's
the
right.
information, but I
I
don't
think
think,
Steve Gannon wanted to start it up again.
Yeah.
I think that's why he came in.
I
gave
think it
him
was
the
Steve that
information.
was going to spearhead that for the rec.
But did they put any money in their budget for it?
I do not know. No. But I know Steve was talking about it.
The fishing.
Derby.
no.
Just curious.
I hadn't heard anything. Anybody else have anything?
I gave a tour of Moores
Oh,
Falls
that's
on
right, Sunday.
Sunday, and it was kind of interesting. The tour was supposed to be held at 11, and 2 people showed up at 11, but they had absolutely no idea what was going on. but they're like, "Hey, why not?" So gave them a tour. and they seem to enjoy it. So
Where were they from, did they say?
one was from Londonderry, one was from Concord.
Oh, good.
That's nice.
It's a mother and daughter.
So make a motion to go into non-public.
I
Yep.
second.
Roll call vote to go into non-public?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Yes.
Okay.
this is yes.
Close the meeting at 7:55 and go into non-public.
Hold on.
And you're only coming out to go home.